whatever you think you are going through right now is what your senior colleagues have gone through in their careers. So even if you look at senior colleagues and how successful they are, they've probably been through the same phases of confusion, of being overworked in their careers. So that sticks with me because, of course, if you are a senior colleague of mine, you have a greater deal of responsibility. And so it's a different, I think it's not necessarily because of politics that we then cover for them. I think it's actually acting collegiately, right? And also, they would be busy trying to get external funding. They would be busy trying to make the connections, and those connections would eventually benefit you too. So I think it's a relationship that you, I think, start to negotiate. I think it is not very healthy if there is discord between the supervisors, because I think that's not healthy for the student. It sends out very unclear messages. I think it's great to have debates on perspectives academically, but I think there needs to be clear lines of communication. So I often remind students, if I'm in a co-supervision relationship, that there are other members of staff involved as well. Maybe I can also explain or give a couple of examples where there have been problems. So I recently had a split-site PhD student in the US, and again, he got in touch with me because he wanted to work with me. But with the split-site PhD arrangement, there is often a local supervisor in the American institution. Now, this never worked, never got to work eventually because he was really struggling. Despite English being the first language, he was actually struggling to write academically. He's a practitioner who's in his 50s, so he's very mature. Great source of empirical data. The only unfortunate thing is that he really struggled to understand the nuances of academic writing. But we still maintain very close contact throughout. He persevered through my comments until the last point where he just thought he wasn't going anywhere. And I think he needed to go through that experience before he knew that it wasn't really for him. He eventually withdrew from the program. But I remember that we had dinner last year, the American supervisor and I and the PhD students. We had a wonderful Texan steak. This is really important because often there is a social element to it as well. We go out for drinks or for snacks or for lunch. And that American supervisor is a psychologist by background. My interest is more sociology and social anthropology. So immediately our disciplinary perspectives have, I wouldn't say clashed, but there are differences in opinion. And I could sense that my PhD student from in this relationship again steered towards my perspective. And I was very conscious of this because this would actually influence the types of conferences he would write in, the types of literature that he would be consulting and engaging with. And so I remember in several supervision meetings just gently reminding my PhD student that there is another person in this relationship who is from a psychology background. And instead of actually reinforcing the differences in the disciplinary perspectives, I tend to kind of say, let's explore the possibilities of combining these perspectives methodologically so that it enriches the study rather than diminishes the contribution. So I think there are these tactics that one can employ to ensure that we minimize discord. But failure happens. So in this particular case, he just couldn't see through the process of writing academically, and so we both thought that it would be a good idea to withdraw.